What goals? Our attackers that couldn't score any goals have now scored 8 goals in 3 games under Ruben Amorim. He is making subs. He's getting our team to score. Ruben Amorim, I'm in love. I'm falling for it again. New manager coming, new manager bounce. I am ready to be let down by this club again. I am excited about this manager. I am positive. And what a game. What performance. Again, second half. Feel like the Bodo Glimt game, quite not at our best in the first half, but really got going in the second half. I think that goal really got us moving because I think the first 30 minutes we rushed it, we gave the ball away a little bit vulnerable in transition, but we just blew them away. Once we got playing, the football we were playing was good. It wasn't transition based. It was creating chances. It was positive games. And these were just my general notes. Ahmad, excellent. He reminds me of Saka. Zirkzee's best game because Zirkzee wasn't asked to be a transitional striker, number 9. Zirkzee was allowed to drop deep and have runners behind him because a manager had profiled our players correctly. And my biggest problem with Ten Hag was he wasn't getting the best out of our players because he was misprofiling them. You play Rashford nearer to goal and you score. 3 goals for Rashford in 2 starts under Ruben Amorim. You might not like Marcus Rashford. I know a lot of you have been critical about him, but I've always said this with Rashford. If you play him closer to goal, he will score. He's a bit more clinical than Garnacho. Rashford and Højlund are the 2 most clinical players when given chances, and Zirkzee today was incredibly clinical himself. Diallo as well got 2 assists, but also technically 3 assists because he won the ball back for Zirkzee's first goal, and both of Zirkzee's goals came through Ahmad, his work rate and winning the ball back. Bruno 2 assists, brilliant nutmeg. Had he dived, he would have won a penalty. Lissandro Martin is just excellent with his passing, playing out from the back. Diallo, I'm not going to be critical of Diallo. I think he can do a job at right centre-back, right wing-back. I think he's a technical player that Amorim can use and utilise. But with the space that's being created by the movement out of possession, which is part of Amorim's system, which is beautiful, the movement out of possession. I might do a detailed video diving into that. Diallo was getting in good areas. His crossing, not good enough. Agate, vital. I felt that we were better when he came on. And I think Maino and Casemiro together, for me, legs-wise, doesn't work. I think Maino's great, but he needs to be with Agate because Agate's got the off-the-possession legs. And I think Maino's good, his touch is good, his control's good. He's such a rare, unique profile, but he needs Agate there for the legs. And then transition-wise, I think defence could do better in transitions, and I think what I liked is that Amorim rotated heavily. But look at this: 2 goals for Rashford, 2 goals for Zirkzee, 2 assists for Fernandes, 2 assists for Ahmad. Have Ahmad an FPL as well. I was really annoyed he didn't score that first opportunity because Zirkzee put a really good ball into Ahmad, but absolutely lovely stuff. Can you believe that Anthony was played over Ahmad for so long at a Ten Hag? The difference is ridiculous, and he cost 86 million. As Adam said here, Manchester United's goal scorers under Ruben Amorim: 3 for Rashford, 2 for Højlund, 2 for Zirkzee, 1 for Garnacho, all forward, which is great. But additionally, the starting striker has now scored in every game too. The attackers were never the main issue. And I said this, everyone talks about Man United needing a striker. I said my priority is left wing back and legs in midfield and then centre back for depth. I said because I generally believe we've got good names in attack and we probably need another name there if it doesn't work out under Amorim. But I always felt that the reason we weren't scoring goals wasn't because of Højlund, wasn't because of Zirkzee, it was because of the system. If you know me, I've been saying that for a while, and that's what I think we saw today. Attackers scoring goals, rotation happening, subs happening, 5 goals from the strikers in 3 games under Amorim, 8 scored so far. All I wanted to see when Ruben Amorim came in was progress and identity and goals. And we are seeing, look, we might lose to Arsenal. It's going to be hit and miss. This is a rebuild. He hasn't got all of his players. He's lacking the legs in midfield. He's lacking a left wing back. We can see that. But we're seeing players getting better and being profiled correctly. We're seeing rotation. We're not seeing favouritism. We're seeing an identity system already. That elements of it works, but of course there's room for improvement. Defending transitions. We don't have the players who have the physical capabilities to defend the transitions. That's something we've got to be worked on. But we've got goals. We've got an identity. We are seeing an improvement under Ruben Amorim, and that's all I want to see in these early stages. Even if we finish 7th, if we play football like that and have games like that, we have something to build upon. I believe we're 9th in the league as well. We do go above Newcastle and Aston Villa in the league. We're only a point behind Tottenham, 4 points behind City as well. So, we've got room to catch up. But we have to talk about the man of the match, Amad Diallo. 100% take on success. 63 total touches. 7 defensive actions. 4 touches in the box. 4 tackles won. 3 passes into the final third. 3 chances created. 3 fouls won. 2 assists, 2 shots. This guy is a baller. Absolute baller. He reminds me so much of Bukayo Saka. He really does remind me of Bukayo Saka because, and I'm going to dive into this, he holds the ball up quite well. He uses his body well. I think it's fantastic what he does. He uses his body to push off defenders and he can keep the ball in tight spaces, dribble out of tight spaces. He's got the press and work rate. The defensive abilities are improving where he can win back the ball, but he's chasing up and down his flank. He's pressing. He led to both of Zirkzee's goals, got 2 fantastic assists. His movement, his IQ, his creativity, his intelligence, absolutely fantastic. His ball carrying ability, getting up and down the flanks, the 1-2s, he can progress the ball, he can progress play. His decision making, he knows when to pass and when to shoot, maybe one of the best in the squad as well. Could have easily won a penalty at the end there as well, was quite a close one. And he was on the bench for 8 games under Ten Hag because when Ten Hag's job's on the line, you just can't get your head around it. His ball retention, his use of physical strength, his high football IQ, knowing when to pass, knowing when to shoot, performing well in every game. You're seeing this. Decision-making, work rate, technical ability. He's got 6 goal contributions in his last 4 starts for Manchester United. He's not an output player, Ahmad. Rashford is arguably an output player, but Ahmad's someone where he doesn't need goals and assists to have a massive influence on the game. You see that there. There's just an all well-rounded, fantastic player in Amad Diallo. He's not an output player, but he's actually getting good output. He's creating. He's making things happen. I've been saying to this for ages since the first game of the season. I said Ahmad is our most creative player. And if we want to create opportunities, we need Ahmad. 2 assists today. I think he got the assist versus Ipswich. That's 3 assists for Ahmad and 2 starts under Ruben Amorim. He is leading us for chances created. Ahmad and Bruno, the creativity there is absolutely fantastic. And I thought that Ahmad and Rashford, because I know Rashford's normally better on the left, he played on the right, but I thought the threat of Ahmad and Rashford meant that Everton had to think about 2 players on that side to deal with, which was creating a bit more space for one another, which was a little bit of a difference compared to the Ipswich game. And my general thoughts on the game was that Everton were good the first 30 minutes. They were a significant threat. I thought we had some all right moments in the first 10 minutes, but from minute 10 to about minute 30, Everton were the better side. And then we had the corner, we had the Rashford goal. Thank you, Branthwaite, for the goal and assist. Everton's mistakes did help us today, and we capitalised on that. On another day, it could have just been a 1-2-0 win. Thank you, Everton, for those mistakes. But Bruno Fernandes demonstrated his quality today. 2 assists, nutmeg, absolutely fantastic stuff. Zirkzee, really good game, almost assisting Ahmad as well near the beginning of the game. Good touches, good passes. Diallo, probably not a left wing back, but we see a guy's importance. I will say this now, we need a midfielder with legs because if we don't have a guy, we do lack the athleticism in midfield, and we did get killed in midfield at times. We need an athletic player to go next to Maino, Belieber, Edison, Amadou Onana's one we used to bring up, an athletic player. That's what we need. But look at Lissandro Martinez playing out from the back. He was fantastic. Amad Diallo was fantastic. And Amorim has turned the attackers into form, which is what Ten Hag couldn't do. You see an improvement in players. And yes, it's one game. We can't get carried away. And I will get carried away. But I was really impressed. Joshua Zirkzee, as you can see here, 3 touches in the box, 2 chances created, 2 defensive actions, 2 fouls won, 2 goals. Much more like it from Joshua Zirkzee. For he was excellent. And I said this, all of a sudden, a manager profiled Zirkzee correctly, using him outside of a transition-heavy role. And what a game he has. Who would have thought? He has runners around him, can drop deep, can link with teammates. He made some really good passes into Ahmad and Rashford, scored 2 goals and had some tidy touches. His best game at United. Because I don't think Zirkzee's a bad player because I watched him at Bologna. It is about how he was being used and how he was being utilised. And we saw that today. Zirkzee's best game for me. He looked better outside of a transition-heavy system because he's not quick. I thought Rashford operated really well in those central zones and Zirkzee was doing well. I thought Rashford and Zirkzee worked really well together. Goals, assists, pace, link-up play. Zirkzee is just 23. I think there is a good player that I watched him at Bologna. Whether he's a Premier League level player, whether he'll work in the long term, this is just one game, who will know? But people were acting like Zirkzee was crap and pony. There's a player there, and I've always defended Zirkzee because I felt that he wasn't utilised at his best. He wasn't profiled correctly by the manager, and that's why I've always defended Zirkzee, and I felt that he was the glue today. I felt he was connecting everything, and I felt that Zirkzee, Bruno, Rashford as a trio worked well because Ahmad almost comes into attack there as well. And he made some really, really good passes. I was really impressed by that Joshua Zirkzee performance. And as H said here, This is more of the player I know. Still not 100% when it comes to sharpness, but you can see what he can offer and how he'll look once he's fully polished. Shawk's proximity of the 10s wing-backs running off him really helps when it comes to wall passes and bouncing off him. Top performance, so happy for him. And I'm so happy for him because I think some of the criticism he's been getting was unfair. Captain Bruno Fernandes, don't want to make this video too long, had a good game. A little bit sloppy to begin with, but really grew into the game, grew his influence, and actually got subbed off for a change, which I think was needed because I think he needs a bit of rest and he will be important in that Arsenal game. But 2 assists, the nutmeg on Young. He's someone that, he brings you creativity, can make something happen. And of course, Marcus Rashford back on the score sheet is what you love to see. Actually had a good game, wasn't as heavily involved as Ahmad, but the thing about Rashford is if we're lacking goals, we need to just play Rashford close to goal. And all we need is 1 or 2 good passes. And he is a clinical finisher. He's a lot. If Garnacho was in those areas, you just don't know if he scores. I think Garnacho does more running than Rashford. And outside of goals, he can bring more than Rashford in terms of his intensity. But Rashford knows how to finish. He knows how to score. And I believe in Marcus Rashford. People say, Alice, you give Rashford too much favouritism. But I really believe in the player there. And I saw this tweet. Ahmad looks so much more liberated today. Against Ipswich, he was pinned back by Leif Davies overlapping, I agree. Moving Rashford to the right has liberated Ahmad because Everton's left-hand side are all sorts of issues. Even out of possession, Ahmad was able to push higher and cause chaos. Ahmad won the ball 2-3 times out of possession. But I felt that we missed Agate. And there was a point where I think Mount, Garnacho and Agate were all warming up because I do feel we lack the legs and athleticism. I generally believe if you bring in players who are athletically good enough to play Amorim ball, he will succeed. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.